What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys been out there building shit, believing your God-given hands, taking on projects, building, fixing, creating, accomplishing things throughout the day. Make you feel good, build up your self-esteem, build up your self-worth, build up your repertoire of things that you can accomplish, make yourself more useful in the future. That's what learning's all about, guys. So, today, we're out here with Blue Nose, our 6.9 IDI diesel-powered dump truck. A couple weeks ago, we were underneath this old girl repairing the fuel system. If you ain't checked out those videos, we'll have some links down in the description. While I was under here, I noticed over here quite a bit of wetness on a power steering line. So it looks like we're going to be doing a future video on repairing a leaking power steering line. Well, it's the future now. Today is the future, so time to repair some power steering line.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
I went ahead, backed the truck up over here, closer to my tools. So let's start getting these power steering lines off of here. I wanted to show you guys the issue with these power steering lines. Comes up and over, it's up against and starting to dig into the plastic reservoir there, and in this line has completely dug itself into the edge of the power steering pump. This top side should be nice and easy to get to. Getting to the other end of that line is not easy. I checked from the bottom lounge chair cushion, try to keep myself out of the mud, but I know I'll be dirty by the end of this job. Found no access point underneath, and then I found this. Had to turn the tires nice and sharp. Popped out this little plastic keeper pin. I'm looking in there, and wow, not a great way to get to that. The more I've looked at this, I think that I'm best off just removing this pump so that I can see the top of that steering box and disconnect the lines from it without this pump in the way. So that's what I'm going to start working on. I'm going to go ahead and loosen these two bolts just a tad bit so that this will rotate, and loosen up this belt. Having to use the old 2-wrench method to get those things popped loose. I'm sure they ain't been removed in a while. It's so nice once you get something loose enough to just use your fingers. Got that pushed down. Able to get that belt off and out of the way now. I'm gonna try to just do this top one. Get that bolt out of there. I just love things like that when the bolt comes out and contacts the fan shroud, so then you can't even get that bolt all the way out. Ooh, with enough pushing, I was able to get it just to the inside of the hole and back her out, guys. I'm gonna get this plastic air intake hose out of my way. Air intake's up and out of the way. Now, got that wrench on there, and we're gonna start undoing it. Alrighty, so got that line out of there. You can see where it's dug into the side of it. I think I'm gonna undo this negative power to the battery, bring it up and out of the way. The power cable up and over and out of the way. So now we'll see what we can do with this guy. Pull this out of there and get the whole bracket and all out of the way. Alrighty guys, so got that out of the bracket area. Got it tilted forward enough that I can see the other line. This guy fell out from where that line came out of, I believe. So be careful, don't lose that guy. I'm gonna have to get it cleaned up before I put it back together. Going ahead and getting this line undone. from the bottom of the pump. Got that line pushed off there, but in pulling this guy up and getting it out, I just found a spring sitting down here as well. I'm sure that that goes with that little plunger looking deal. So there's two parts that I messed up. I pulled the line and they must have popped out and I didn't know about them. So I thought this was just going to be a quick undo two ends of the line, reinstall the line type of video, and it is turning into not. So now we've got all these line connections. I got to figure out which one is this line that we want to replace. But then also you got this plastic housing here. I don't know if you guys can see that. That goes over one of the lines. I figured out that that end that goes around the line has a break in it, or an opening. So you just pop that out and around. Now that plastic piece that protects your rag joint slides up. Now we can get to these fittings, but I'm going to try to clean them up a little bit so we don't get a bunch of gunk into our steering gear before I tear this apart. We undid both those lines from up top. The one goes down onto the front cross member and loop-de-loop-de-loop-dees and then comes back up. The other one was this guy that we started out taking out, and right here you can see how deeply gouged and why it started leaking, rubbing up against the side of the pump. There's my two hoses that I ordered. We've got an Edelman, and there's the part number, and then a Samsung with the part number. It looks like they're different, but then on closer inspection I realized I probably wasn't supposed to back this part out of the pump, and that's why those parts came out. Had I held this one in place and just backed it out from here, I think it would have held all that together. Oopsie. So I got that apart, and now we're gonna have to pop this little O-ring to that groove. Check this truck and the other truck just to see the routing of the line, so that I don't put it on the same way and cause myself the same problem if maybe there's a better way to route it to keep it from damaging itself. So the yellow banana, its pressure line goes back around that way instead of up over that way like Blue Nose had it. Wow, this one mounts way up high, but again, it is mounted with the line coming up and around that way instead of like Blue Nose had it around here where it presses on there. That looks like a brand new pump on there. But this is a non-AC truck, so it's up higher, easier to get to. I don't even think this truck we would have had to pull it, because we could have gotten right down to the lines down there. Let's go ahead and tear this one apart so we can see how this all goes back together. It looks like the spring goes in first, then that guy. So that's how we'll put ours back together. Alright, so got that new line connected to the steering box down there. Had to move it a tad bit, or bend it, the hard line, a tad bit, just to get it to fit. But we got it in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and get this other line removed. Okay, so now let's come down here. We've got this loop-de-looped, and we got that one bolt there in the center that holds that loop-de-loop to the cross member. So I'm going to get that bolt out. Got that one off, started pulling a bit, realized that I had a bunch of mud up and around that one. So got that mud off with a screwdriver. Now I can take out that bolt. I got that one out of there. Got the other one out of there. Now the whole thing should slide down and out. Got the new one, got the old one. So what I'm gonna do is, with it out here on the ground, I'm gonna transfer those little hold downs to the new one in the proper spots, so that I know when I get it up in there, I'll just have to move them a tad bit, get them lined up with the holes. So we got the clips transferred over. So So I got the bottom held up with just one clip. The other clip doesn't line up. Came up top. Got that fitting into the steering box. Didn't tighten it all the way. Now I'm going to go back down, try to get things situated properly. So I had to end up bending this out. Jammed a screwdriver in like that so I could get that one far enough over and got the clip on it. Went ahead and got that line tightened up, and I brought that plastic cover back down and over. I'm really starting to wonder if this is going to be long enough to reach up to the steering pump. I'm thinking it looks like it's too short, so I might need to get a little longer hose. Got the power steering pump pop back in there. Now I'm going to have to wrestle with that bolt that I had to get past the shroud and get it in there. Wish me luck. Oh, it's so nice when you're finally putting things back together. Starting to get that bolt in there. It actually went past that fountain shroud a lot easier than anticipated. The line to the bottom of this, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little concerned.
Dropped his pants and he whipped it out all proud. And I said, oh no, where's the rest of it?
So, cut off the little bit of hose that came with my line because it wouldn't reach. Went to O'Reilly's, bought a chunk of it. It's actually just short of 2 feet, so they sold it to me as 1 foot, and I probably need 16, 18 inches. So at least something worked out for the day. And then when we were doing the fuel return lines, changing the valves to three-way valves instead of the factory fuel tank switch valve, I bought all these clamps. And I told you guys that I lived in kind of a rural area and they'd come in handy, and they definitely did. Connected up here. Now I'm going to go down, cut off the end of that hose. Got it connected. I got the second bolt into the power steering pump. Got the belt wrapped around all of its pulleys. Now I can tighten that up and tighten those bolts. I know some people are probably going to hate on me a little bit for this one, but this inner fender, when I get this up and into the right position, it's just getting a rubby rub there, and it's an absolute pain to even get it to tighten up into there. And I feel like that's just going to cause me issues in the long run, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I cut my inner fender well deal, and I just did a line all the way up to here. I was able to give myself room instead of like completely getting rid of that chunk. It's just pushed in, and got this connected, but holy moly, it's sure loose at this end. I'm hoping that thing's sealed. I'm going to teach you guys a little trick. You get yourself one of these syringe type deals with a little piece of hose on it, and I found that really helps with filling up things like power steering, because you can suck it up in there. You're able to just kind of squirt that into there, not make such a mess, especially on a windy day like today, trying to pour things and the wind blowing it all over. Now, anytime you open up your power steering setup, best practice is to jack it up the front end. Keep the engine not running. You got the front end off the ground. You've got the reservoir topped up. So what you're gonna want to do is jump into the truck and just rotate the wheels kind of slow, back and forth. You're gonna go all the way right. Then we're gonna come all the way left again. Fluid went down a little bit, but it still looks good. Slowly rotate the wheel left and right again, guys. Do this process a few times. And keep checking your fluid level. So let's come in here and we'll keep on going back and forth a bit. And is what that does is gets the air out of the system, gets the bubbles out of the system without pressurizing air which can blow out seals and cause you all kinds of other issues. So we just keep on rotating back and forth, kind of slowish, all the way lock to lock. And let's go ahead and check the fluid. Fluid still looks good. I'm probably actually a little over full, but that's all right. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cap back on, and I'm going to start the truck. Before we start the truck, I'm just going to have to connect this negative battery cable we pulled up and out of the way. Okay, so let's give her some glow pluggage. 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 1000, 6, 1000, 7, 1000. You follow the channel, you probably noticed old Blue Nose has got a bit of a deeper voice. Stay tuned. I'll show you what I did to that old rusty leaking muffler. Let's check for leaks. That there was the main fitting I was worried about leaking, and I don't see no leaks. You guys notice I put some rubber around that side of the hose so it doesn't rub in. I do need to still hook up my intake, but for the most part, we're looking pretty good. Looks like that belt needs tightened up. That's for my AC. Let's look from the bottom, see if we got any leaks. Looking good. Now we're back in the truck. Let's see. Oh, it's bumping. Betting there's a little air in the system. Pull that cap and see if we can top off the fluid. Oh yeah, she needs fluid. Oops, I probably just sucked more air into my system on accident. My bad. I topped off fluid. I'm gonna come in here. Come on now. She's not wanting to turn very easy. And check the fluid again. Got the jack out from under the fluid's topped off, and it's actually steering better now, especially if I kind of ease forward just real slow. I'll show you guys. But just sitting in one spot, it's a little bit herky-jerky. I'm betting there's still just a tad bit of air in there. So if you just go just a tad bit, see that? It's working really well. Let's go ahead and check the fluid. A little over full, and you can't see all the air in there, the bubbles. So it's just gonna take a minute, probably go for a short drive and work out more of that air in the system. Oh, let's go for a quick drive around the block here. Didn't get my door all the way shut. I'm getting no issues steering, moving a little bit, just sitting completely still. It was kind of herky-jerky. Look down here, we're good. You can probably see me driving down the road, weaving back and forth like, what the heck is this guy doing? Oh well, let him judge me. Hopefully that helps start getting the bubbles out of the system. I'm not gonna go far, I'm just gonna go back up here. Oh, crank it all the way. Just kind of around the block and back to the house. even sitting still, I can take it all the way, lock to lock, no herky-jerky, no issues. So I think we've bled the air out of the system pretty well. Air intake's back installed, and we're calling that a wrap. Whew. That project ended up way more involved than I anticipated. I thought I was just going to take off 2 ends of a hose, throw in the new one, and I'd be done. I had to dismantle all kinds of stuff. The hoses and the lines that I got ended up just a wee too short. So then I had to go to a parts store. It's been a couple days doing this project, but man, it sure feels good when you're finally done and it's leak free and it's working and you know that you did it yourself. So believe in what God gave you. Take on some projects. Build, fix, create. Keep building shit, guys. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something about, hey, changing your power steering lines like I did, hit that thumbs up. Really helps out with this small YouTuber trying to beat those evil algorithms. If you want to see more IDI content in the future, I've got some more videos coming up. Hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned, I'll show you what I did with that muffler. I ended up cutting that rusty, holy junk muffler off of it. And I cut it at kind of a funky angle because I left that piece on the tailpipe and I bent it down to do my own little homemade, cheap, budget-friendly turn down on the exhaust. There it is there. Not the most beautiful, but hopefully keeps exhaust off of the bottom of the truck. Just kind of turns it down. And yep, I held it up with baling wire.